constraints we have seen not null constraint. Not null means what? Doesn't allow null values, right? And unique constraint. What is the purpose of unique constraint?
It does not allow duplicate values.
Duplicate element, duplicate values. Doesn't allow duplicate values while inserting data into our table. Okay. Next, primary key. What is the purpose of primary key?
It does not allow null value, unique value.
Null values and duplicate values. So we can say that is a combination of not null and unique. Okay, next foreign key. Foreign key is a field used to establish link between two tables. Link between two tables. A foreign key in one table used to point primary key in another table. A foreign key in one table is used to point primary key in another table. So it provides link between two tables. Foreign key refers to primary key. Okay. Next, check constraint. It doesn't allow, while for example if you case, so the age people like if who are eligible for vote, that persons only we can allow. Oh, so that is 18, right? If it is age is less than or equal to 18, then we can allow the persons, otherwise we should not allow. There we can use check constraint. Otherwise, while you are entering gender, I should allow only male or female. Not we should not enter other votes. Okay, so you can use it will check the condition. If satisfied, then allow values into our table. Otherwise, it will not allow. Check constraint violate exception, it will throw. Next, default. Default means instead of storing null values, if I want to store some other data, some other value, there I can use default. Okay. Index. Index is used for what? For example, if I want to read particular topic in a book, so there we are using indexes, right, for finding particular page, topic, page. By using index, we are going through the topic, right? In this way, we are using index here. For example, if we have the large amount of data into our table, in the table I want to retrieve only 2 rows of data. There I can use indexes. Okay, for retrieving past. For retrieving past, if I want to retrieve data in past, click there, I can use indexes. Okay, actually primary key having their index, default index. So if it is primary key value, we can get it is in less time. But if it is not a primary key, it will take some more time compared to primary key, because we are not giving indexes. If you give index, then while retrieving 2 or 3 records from 500 records, the performance will be fast. Okay, there we can use indexes. So how to create index? Till now we discussed not null, unique, primary key, foreign key, check and default constraints. Now I am going to explain about index. How to create index? Create index name, whatever this is user defined, you can use whatever name it is. Create index name on table name employee, where columns like EID, ename. Okay, other names also we can give. So you are giving index to EID, ename in EMP table. Okay. type EMP table. So there feels like not EID ename, that is ID and name. Created index here so that we can retrieve the data of employee table in easy and fast way. Okay, if it is a single or two rows or one row, where we can use it in Facebook, you are searching for names. Okay, you are typing name in search box, so you are able to find in less time your friend name. So there we are using indexes. In that situation we can use indexes. See here, index we created. In this way we can create index, then select EID comma sorry select ID comma name from EMP where ID equal to 1 and see where ID equal to 1 or uncondition or condition can use it. Here no data available is showing. First see what is the data available here. Select star from EMP. So row ID 1 is not available. That's so it is it doesn't having any rows showing like that. But if I use ID3 is available, right? So I can retrieve in fast way. Okay, we have only less number of data here. That's why we are not unable to recognize the performance. If you have thousands of records, if you want to retrieve one row or two rows of data, their indexes will be perform their task. Okay, there we can use it. Now you understand, right? Indexes, how to create index, what is the syntax? Create index name on EMP and column names. Okay, you are creating index on different columns. You understand, right? F6.
Yes, sir.
F6. You understand, right? Index purpose. We have less data
Yes,
here,
sir.
that's why we are unable to see the performance. If you have large amount of data, there we can see the performance. So within the less time, we are able to retrieve data from the table. If it is one row or two row, example in Facebook, you are searching names, right? Your friend names for giving friend requests. There we can use indexes. Okay, right. How to create index? Create index name on employee, and means that means table name and column names. Okay, right. Now constraints are completed, right? See, can I alter? Can I perform alter operations on constraints? Can I enable? Can I enable? Can I enable or disable constraint? Do you know the type of queries? See, I am altering the ID of employee table into primary key. How to alter? You know alter query, right? Alter table EMP add constraint name here primary key constraint name, then a primary key of ID. Invalid alter table option. alter table emp add constraint spelling is what? And id primary key. We altered id as primary key. Now I am trying to insert duplicate data into the table. So insert emp values of id 3 and the name, next address, salary. Duplicate data, it doesn't allow. Constraint violated exception, it is unique because of primary key, it is throwing exception, right? So can I disable the constraint? Yes, I can disable. There also I can use alter query, alter table name, alter table name employee, disable constraint name, disable constraint name is what? id primary key. See, I disabled the primary key constraint here. Now I am trying to insert the data. It has inserted. Are you observing? If I disable the constraint, I can insert duplicate data, right? How can I enable constraint? See, same query, alter table emp, alter table emp, now you can enable the primary key constraint by using enable keyword. Now see, alter table emp enable constraint name. See, why it is throwing exception means we inserted duplicate data into our table. So we should not use like that. So we should delete the duplicate data. Then we can enable the primary key constraint. How can you delete the row from table? What is the query? First I need to see the data. Select star from emp. What data duplicate here? id 3. See, I want to delete one row. So how can I delete? Delete from
table name.
id equal to 3.
Sir,
id
then
equal to 3.
both parts will be deleted, no sir?
Yes. Okay. We can delete where name equal to SA, right? Where name equal to SA.
Quotations.
Yes, we deleted. Let's start from EMP. Okay, we deleted row. Now I can enable primary key. How can I enable? What is the query? Alter table name, enable constraint name. Here constraint name is what? id underscore pk. I enable primary key here. Now can I insert the data? So it is violated. So in this way I can disable the constraint or I can enable the constraint. If I want to drop constraint, same query I can use. Instead of disable, enable and add, I can use drop. Alter table name, drop constraint name, alter table employee drop constraint name. I dropped it. So primary key constraint has dropped. Okay. If I trying to insert duplicate data, it allows because there is no primary key constraint. In this way, for constraints, we can alter, or we can add the constraint, we can drop the constraint, we can disable the constraint, we can enable the constraints. Okay. Let us see the description. See, we have integrity constraint. That means database integrity constraints are set of rules or restrictions on the content of database or on database operations. Integrity constraints ensures that the data insertion, updation and other processes have to be performed in such a way that data integrity is not affected. Integrity constraints ensures no data loss occurs due to accidental insertion or updation or deletion. See here integrity constraints four types like domain constraint, entity integrity constraint, referential integrity constraint and key constraint. Till now we discussed all key constraints. See what is domain constraint. I already explained how to find the domain. It represents total number of columns. Okay. Here what is the domain value? ID, name, semester, yes. Domain value is 4. Okay. See first we will see what is the domain constraint here. So the data type of domain includes string, character, integer, time, date, concurrency. We have seen all already these all data types. Which data types we are using for name, ID, number, phone number, gender, date, etc. Already I shown these data types. So those data types domains included string type, character type, integer type, time, date, concurrency, etc. The value of the attribute must be available in corresponding domain. See for example, I have a table, student tables. We have student ID, student name, semester and age. These are the columns and the rows. In the row we have the data, each column having the data. ID, here ID is type, ID type is what? Which data type I can use for ID? Number type or integer type, right? So there I can use, I can allow only int type of integer type or number type of data only. Coming to next column, name. Here name is what type? Varchar type. Varchar means I can insert only char type of values. I cannot insert integer values. Next, semester. Here also I use varchar data type. That's why I can use both int values and char values. But it takes considered it as character value. Coming to age column, I inserted age. Age is what type? Integer type or number type, right? So number type I should use only numbers. I can insert only numbers here. 1, 2, 10, 15, 17, 20 like that. If I want to if I trying to insert char value, here char value is A, I am trying to insert A value in age column, so it throw exception because it not allow, because A is a integer attribute. Here age is what? Integer attribute. So domain constraints represents what type of data I can insert into columns. If it is integer type, only I can insert into type of data. If it is char type value, I am unable to insert only char values. So this represents by using domain constraint. Okay, domain constraint means data types, right? Next one is entity integrity constraint. Entity integrity constraint. Here entity means what? Table. Table name is what? Employee. Here columns employee ID, employee name, employee salary. So here entity integrity constraint states that primary key value cannot be null. So in this entity level means table level, we are going to create primary key constraint. Because of that, we are not allowing null values. We are not allowing null values stored into table. So here we are avoiding null values and duplicate values. So that is the use of primary key, right? So entity integrity constraint states that primary key value cannot be null. Here the null data will not be stored. In which column? Only in employee ID column, because we used primary key constraint. So this represents entity integrity constraints, right? Next. Next one is referential integrity constraint. Referential. Here what you can remember it is referential. Referential means a foreign key refers to primary key. Here foreign key is what? It provides link between one table to another table. It provides link between two tables. It represents primary key in another table, right? It points the primary key in another table. So a referential integrity constraint is specified between two tables. Here I have table of employee having employee name, next name is department number. Here that is child table. Our parent table is having columns like department number and department location. See here primary key having department number, so that primary key and foreign key refers one table to another table. Here if the foreign key having the values, that values must be available in primary key. If that value is available in primary key, then only I am able to insert the values into foreign key table. Okay, referential integrity constraint. It refers to primary key to foreign key. Okay, the relation must be there. If I am able to insert data into foreign key means what? The data must be available in primary key. Okay, then only I can insert the data in foreign key table. Okay, next key constraints. Keys are entity set that is used to identify entity within its entity set uniquely. See, unique values means it doesn't allow duplicate values. If I am trying to insert duplicate values, it throw an exception. Okay, not allowed because all rows must be unique. Okay, by using unique constraint. See, key constraints we discussed, those are not null, unique, primary key, foreign key, check, default, all. So one by one I given here theory, we just read it. See, a key constraint is a statement that a certain minimal subset of the fields of relation is a unique identifier for tuples. Here tuple means rows. Okay, the types of key constraints are primary key constraint, unique key constraint, foreign key constraint, not null constraint, check constraint, next alternate key and composite key. Composite key means here a primary key having two or more attributes. then we can represent it is a composite key. So I will show you the example. Here I can disable, already it has disabled in this table, the primary key has disabled, right? Insert into employee duplicate values inserted means I disabled it. I want to delete that row, duplicate row. Next I want to create the composite key. Delete from EMP where name like SA. First I want to see table data, then only I can delete it. Start from EMP. So the duplicate row is 3. Want to delete it now. Delete from EMP where name equal to SA. Deleted. That means there is no duplicate data. Then I can alter it primary key, and for primary key select start from EMP. See in the name column, do you have any duplicate data? No. Now I can make it primary key. So how can I do it? By using alter query, alter table EMP, add constraint ID primary key for primary key name. We'll see while creating table how to add composite key. Later we will alter it. Create table EMP1 ID name varchar address also varchar. Name already exists. I can use another name EMP15. So table has created. Creating table 16. Here ID number, name is varchar, address varchar. Next I want to add constraint. Constraint name constraint name, or else we can directly add the constraint, that is primary key constraint. The elements id comma name. If I make a primary key that is made by the combination of more than one attribute, primary key that is made with more than one attribute, then I can say that is composite key. Missing right parenthesis. Create table emp6 id number name varchar 20 address varchar 20 comma primary key of id name. We missed comma there, that's why it's shown error, missed right parenthesis something. So now we create a right, we will call this is composite key. You understand, right? Composite key is the combination of two or more attributes in primary key. Okay. Here we have candidate keys like id. Id is primary key, and date of birth. Okay. Next, date and the time. These all are candidate keys. So in that, id is primary key and the remaining keys are alternate keys like dob. Okay. Date of birth dob and some other alternate candidate keys, or we can call alternate keys. These are the syntaxes. I already explained this syntax with examples. Just go through it and practice. Remember syntax and queries. If you practice once and twice, you can remember it. How to give constraints and how to add constraint, how to alter like add constraint, drop constraint, disable constraint, enable constraints. These you can use. You can practice in your lab or in lab, then only you can remember these things. Okay, just find the differences among all constraints, what we can do by using not null constraint, what we can do by using unique constraint, what we can do by using primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, check constraint, default constraint. Okay. There are some syntaxes I have given. You just follow it, and whatever examples I practiced here, same thing you also should practice. Aggregate operators, we discussed all aggregate operators like min salary, max salary, sum of the salary, average, count to total number of columns and rows. Okay, these things we already discussed. Union, all, intersect, except and minus. These operators also we discussed. Here except not a other thing, this is like a minus. Okay, in Oracle we are using minus, not except. This is the diagram. By using this diagram you can able to understand easily what is union, what type of data we can get it, what is intersect, what is except. Here instead of except you can use minus. Okay, in Oracle we are using minus operator. These are the syntaxes for those operators, and we discussed null values also. For example, what are the rows having null values? I want to display only that rows, and if it is not null, I want to display only not null data from our table. There I can use these queries like select first name last name from employee where serial number is null, where serial number is not null. Okay, in this way we can handle null values. Null values means what? If null value there means value there or not there. Is it empty? No. The table is empty means the default value is what? Null value. That means what? Only there. Which constraint I can use? Default constraint. Okay. Just read these things. I will share this document queries. Here you don't have any queries. Whatever the queries I explained in our class, so in our session, those queries you can note down in your notebook and practice it. Okay. Okay. Thank you for listening to this session.